Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Precisely.
Hello, everyone. We're back on Robert Feels Good. It's been a bit. We're back doing what we watched for the month of April 2024. Josh G. Woodbury, and join me is one of my co-hosts, Evan Harris.
Glad to be back. I love these monthly recaps so we can discuss all the fun things we've been watching, movies, TV, things we haven't heard of, things we've been waiting to finally discuss with both you and Edgar when Edgar gets here. So I'm excited. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, of course, our co-host Edgar will be joining us shortly. But until then, let's start with something.
Yeah, you mentioned something off air. You talked about the greatest hits. I'd never heard of this.
Yeah.
Is this a shadow drop from Hulu?
Not really. I mean, I got a little press screener for it.
Maybe that's
my
why.
school. But I was interested in it though because it's Lucy Boynton starring, who's from a Sing Street fame. She's the main.
Oh, she's okay. Maybe I have kind of heard about this, but I didn't.
Brandon Pornslet and Justin H. Men are the stars of this movie.
It's called like The Greatest.
It's like a rom-com with aspects of time travel. Like surrounding like with big musical theme. Has like a lot of the music. Like it's basically this woman who loses her like longtime partner in a car accident. Tragic. And the only way, like, she discovers that listening to songs that are relevant in their relationship lets her time travel back to those moments where she heard them with her partner, and it goes from there. So it's really creative premise. I think it's definitely messy, but I think it's really charming, and the music's great, and Lucy Boynton is once again fantastic.
Awesome. So is it a musical or people are singing?
No.
Okay. No,
it's a lot of needle drops.
Okay, and needle drops.
They're very like relevant to the story.
Got it. Okay, that works. I never heard of this, but I'm excited to go back and watch. You know, Hulu always, drops these rom-coms or, fun movies. And if it's a big one, I'll usually hear of it, but the small ones I haven't really heard of. So it's fun to go back and watch some of these Hulu movies. I'm going to have a lot of time coming up soon. Yeah. I'm teaching and my last week is coming up shortly at the end of the month. So that's going to be exciting to finally catch up on all these, streaming movies that I've missed. I've done pretty good for myself in theaters, but some of the streaming stuff I've been missing. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on the greatest hits. I loved her. I loved her in Sing Street, which is an extremely underrated movie. If people are listening to this and have not watched Sing Street, I would totally recommend watching it because it's one of my favorite movies of the last decade.
Sing Street's really great.
Fantastic.
And she's fantastic here. And it's just a really creative rom-com that with like a cool premise. And the cinematography is like it actually was great for a rom-com, which is like really cool to see.
Yeah.
It's the cinematographer is Jung Hoon Chun, who did Last Night in Soho, Obi-Wan Kenobi, bunch of Park Chan-wook's movies.
Kenobi's great cinematography. Wonka, there we go. I love us some
Handmaiden, Old Boy.
Okay, there we go. Park Chan-wook stuff. Yeah. Park Chan-wook is one of my favorite directors ever. So working with that's some great pedigree there.
He's a great cinematographer, and his work here is really good.
I would definitely have to check that one out. I just added it to my list. The greatest hits. Interesting. Okay. So, what else you got there, buddy?
What was yours? What's a smaller movie that you saw?
A smaller movie that I saw. I don't know if I'm a huge anime person. My letterbox is fucking up recently. I don't know what's going on with it. I'll just go off of memory.
Let me bring up your page on mine.
I'm trying to go to my diaries. Like my diary is not working. I just reset my app and then I have to reset it again. Apparently, I'm clicking on it. Everything.
It's weird.
I don't know what's going on. I never had this happen before. But beginning of the month, I saw this anime movie, Spy Family Code White. Spy Family is a very popular anime in the West. It's growing. Of course, it's an anime from Japan, but it's growing in the West. Had its first anime movie premiere in December in Japan, and it finally got released in April in America. And it was very fun. If you like the family, the core family, Spy Family, of course, is about the assassin mom or the wife, and then you have the spy who's the dad. They have to get married in order to it's a fake marriage in order for the spy, Lloyd, to continue his mission against the East. It's the West versus the East, the good guys versus the bad guys. And it's about a fake family living together, and the daughter can read their minds. And it's kind of a lot of comedy in between there. And the first movie came out, Code White, and it was a lot of fun. I felt like all the main characters had their time to shine. The action was incredible, and the romance was they don't really dive into the romance too much within the series overall, but we got some good romantic bits in the beginning of the movie, and then the last hour was all action and comedy. Of course, everything you love about the series was kind of in the movie, and I loved it. I think it was a big success on that front. So yeah, that was like one of the first movies I saw in April. I've been having to double up a lot of these weekends because a lot of things came out during the same time.
Yeah.
Month. So I think also during that weekend I saw Monkey Man. Did you see Monkey Man yet?
Hey, yeah, I did.
Oh, my letterbox just loaded up. Sweet. So yeah, what do you think of Monkey Man? This is an interesting story because, as people may know, it was supposed to go straight to Netflix, but Jordan Peele from Get Out, Us, and Nope fame saw it and was like, "Hey, I think this should be a theatrical experience," and I'm glad he did that because
Mm-hmm.
I would have had less enjoyment watching this on Netflix than watching in theater. Of course, with the benefit of sound and just that experience overall. And I liked it. I think it was a solid directorial debut from Dev Patel. Great direction and just a great starring vehicle for him. I haven't seen him in quite some time.
Yeah.
I love him in movies like Lion, but we haven't really seen him in a lot of action movies. And this was a great showcase of his action abilities and like his sensibilities in terms of getting his inspiration. Throughout all his interviews, he talked about like a lot of South Korean inspiration, the Raid movies, of course. I was watching one interview where he mentioned the Raid movies, The Man from Nowhere, and The Villainous,
Mm.
all of which are some of my favorite action movies ever. So I'm glad he input some of those into his movie. And overall, I think I had a great time with the movie. It's a great, simple story of revenge. And even though it's a simple story, what he does with the emotional backdrop with his mom specifically, and the reasons behind it really kind of elevated his character, and made it kind of less generic than it could have been. It's still very simple and it's a very cut and dry and fun movie, but the cinematography and the action kind of makes up for the simple story.
Yeah, I thought it was really solid. You could definitely tell Dev Patel has a lot of sauce behind the camera and a lot of potential going forward. I do think the first two acts were a bit muddy, both in visuals and both in the story. Like you said, with the stuff with the mother is really good, but I think it's a bit all over the place. For me personally. But there is some really strong action choreography there. Especially, I think the movie picks up a lot in the third act. Like the third act of the movie is like a huge leap up from the first two acts. Personally, both in camera work, in stunt choreography, in like emotion, and just in performances. I think like that third act is just so powerful, and some of the set pieces are fucking great. Like once he
Fantastic.
gets to the club, like oh my god.
The club sequences are great, and I think you're right there. I don't think it was too muddy per se for me, but I liked how it kind of went against the grain in terms of this character. When I'm watching the trailer, I expected a John Wick kind of guy and an infallible hero, and we didn't really get that. The first act is him kind of nestling his way into the hierarchy of this villain group that he's trying to go against. So getting kind of like the politics of the land was very interesting. You could tell he had a deep appreciation of the setting of the landscape because that was kind of soaked into the script, like the influence of the people who were kind of owning all the land owning these bad businesses was kind of soaked in there. And I really appreciated that. And his overall arc, while I think his arc was kind of muddy, I did like the overall template of it all in terms of him kind of becoming the underdog, seeing him fail early on and seeing him rise above that and rise with the help of like these supporting characters who really come into play in that third act with like some of the transgender heroes
I
as
love that
well.
stuff. Yeah,
It was very fantastic.
montages were great.
Exactly. The montages were really well done. I agree. And it kind of built up into a fantastic, third act where everything's coming together, all the allies he made along the way, the people that helped heal him. And then again, the mother symbolism really coming into play in the third act. It was just very fun, very hectic. The action was insane. Some of the kitchen scenes were great towards the end of there. Again, like the ballroom,
the elevator. Oh my god.
The elevator. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just fantastic stuff.
But like, what I will say, like, I don't know if money was the right word for it, but like the action sequences in the first two acts, I was talking about with Edgar about this after I saw the movie. Like it is very like clearly it's very shaky. Like Hunger Games 1 levels of shaky cam, which I did not like. It is. He did say like it could be a bit purposeful of him not really getting up to his full strength, which I get. Like it doesn't mean it looks great. It looks like shit, I think personally. But in the third act, it like once he's up and like rose into this like figure, I guess they get rid of the shaky cam a bit, and it looks fantastic. It looks very dynamic and cohesive.
Yeah, I think the action's very dynamic. I didn't really get the muddy action sequences. I'll have to rewatch it. But yeah,
this is a lot of shaky cam.
Yeah, from my experience, I think I kind of agree with him. I think in terms of like it's very hectic on purpose, but I kind of bought into it. But I have to wait and see how I feel again. Because I think it was a very fun movie. Hopefully, it gets a good physical release, and I liked a lot of his interviews. So hopefully, a lot of that stuff is built into the physical copy as well. Because it was a fun action film. Yeah.
After hearing everything like that went into this production, like I couldn't help but come away with it. Like this is what the movies are all about. Like grassroots production, like depth as hell, casting himself, putting himself, directing himself into a role this big, and like sacrificing all that he had to do to get this made. Like that's what filmmaking is all about.
Totally agree. I'm so happy. Like we're getting some great film stories in general. Just a lot of great movies. It's starting in March with Dune and stuff like that. Like April and Love Lies Bleeding, of course, as well. April has also continued the trend of like really kicking 2024 into a new gear because I've loved a lot of these movies I've seen over the past 2 months. And Monkey Man's definitely one of them.
Also, Charlton Copley, really fun role.
Yes,
not much, but he was having a blast.
I haven't seen him in so long. Yeah, he was so great in just the little bits and pieces that he was in. Really happy to see him because it's been a long time. So yeah, Monkey Man, big success. Very happy with that. Which made more at the box office, but I kind of get why. It was kind of an underrated movie in terms of like marketing stuff like that, which makes sense given that like the low underground roots of it all. Okay, I also saw a movie I haven't seen in quite some time that weekend as well. Talk about a movie I saw again, Anaconda, the first Anaconda. Have you seen this movie? It's an iconic movie from my childhood, at least. I used to watch this all the time growing up. I'm a huge fan of like your movies like Crawl or not the bad Jaws spinoffs, but just like, hey, there's a crazy animal out to kill everybody, and we don't know why. And it's just really fun. I think there's Anaconda and there's a sequel as well that I really like. But this one, of course, is with Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, John Voight. And it's just Owen Wilson, of course. It's a great cast. It's pure 90s thriller. I just love it so much. It reminded me of this movie I love with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin versus like this crazy bear, also from the 90s. I forget what that's called now, but I love that too. But yeah, the Anaconda was like one of those movies from my childhood that I watched all the time, and I rewatched it on Netflix when my mom came over earlier last month, and it was fun. I forgot like a lot of the first act. I forgot how much buildup there is with just setting up how crazy of a character John Voight is. John Voight is playing your classic 90s crazy villain with the crazy looks at the camera, just a weird dude, but they kind of save him when they're going through the Amazon River. And of course, he kind of betrays them because he's out to kill the anaconda no matter what. And it's a great battle between like, we know the anaconda is a monster, but John Voight, he's crazy too. Is he the real monster of this movie? That kind of thing. And of course, early 90s Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube is just hilarious and great. Their chemistry is rock solid. Owen Wilson's good as well. Back when Owen Wilson was doing basically every movie back in the 90s and early 2000s. I was a huge fan of his with like Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Nights, stuff like that, Anaconda. So yeah, if people have not watched, Josh, I really recommend like classic 90s monster movie in Anaconda.
I'll put it on the list.
Yeah. It's really fun. It's really fun, dumb, fun 90s action movie, survival action movie. And we don't get a lot of movies like this anymore. Like we're getting, I think I just heard recently they're doing like another 47 Meters Down movie.
Yeah, it wasn't Beast out a couple years ago.
Beast, yeah, with homeboy Idris, which wasn't great, but it brought back that 90s feel for it, where it's very goofy, very cheesy, but I had a fun time with it. I wish it was better, but like, I like movies like that. But I brought up Crawl as well. I think Crawl was like 2019, 2018, I forget, with like Kaya Scodelario, I think, or somebody was in it. And that was a blast. So it just depends on the director.
Those movies aren't really my thing unless it's Spielberg.
yeah. Spielberg kind of like invented the peak animal movie there with Jaws. So yeah, it all depends. I think there's one coming out like this August with Halle Berry, also on Netflix. If I remember, like the
Netflix
ta-dum thing that they were teasing for later this year. So yeah, just I'm sure people, some of the 90s kids would remember that. It came out in 97. I was 1 year old. I didn't see it when I was one, obviously, but early 2000s.
No, go watch your last episode.
Godzilla's calling New Empire. Your new empire.
That masterpiece.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that, I think, right? Did we talk a lot about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about it.
Yeah. I had fun with it. Just long and short of it all, it's fun. Kong, Godzilla fighting in zero gravity. You can't get any better than that. I mean, it can. But I had fun with Kong.
You did a lot better.
You could, yeah.
Even last year.
See -1,000 times. I love -1 so much.
When is it getting a Blu-ray? I need to watch it.
Right? I mean, I saw somebody hold a physical copy from Japan on Reddit, and they're like, I got the release. Hopefully, it comes to America.
That edition looked really cool too.
I need that. Like, it looks stellar. All the covers from -1 are fantastic.
Yeah, they should have.
They should have kissed.
Should have been Godzilla and Kong.
They're saving it for the third movie in the Godzilla Kong sex trilogy. They're officially going to
challengers.
Exactly. They're officially going to bang in the next movie, probably.
Godzilla versus Kong, the erotic comedy.
Yes. Adam Wingard, take notes. Come on.
Let Luca join the team.
Let Luca cook. Get some peaches in there. Have some fun with that. I like Adam Wingard. Adam Wingard, he did talk about like wanting to do a next one and focusing more on Godzilla.
He's doing a different movie though, right?
Is he before he goes into?
He has another. He recently there's news about that.
Oh, I mean that's good for him. I think it's always smart when big directors get a break between their big
It's a horror
franchises.
film too.
Yeah, kind of like what we see with Dune, Denis, like taking a break, then coming back to do Dune Messiah. That's good. Good for you. Good for you.
It's Onslaught at A24.
Onslaught A24. Sweet. Yeah, A24 is the definition of going lower than a big budget. Even though A24 is trying their best to get more high key products now, like the new Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see, but I always love a good A24 flick. Let's talk.
I watched For a class I watched a little film that before, but caught me by surprise. Upstream Color. Have you heard of this?
Upstream
2013.
color. I've heard of downstream color. I'm kidding. No. Please elaborate.
Very experimental. It's basically, here's the letterboxed synopsis. A man and a woman are drawn together and entangled in the life cycle of an ageless organism. Entity or identity becomes illusion as they struggle to assemble the loose fragments of wrecked lives.
Of
it's
what
basically
lives?
like wrecked lives, broken lives.
Oh, wrecked lives. Okay.
So
Okay,
it's
that
basically
sounds
like
weird.
these two people
Yes.
have past experiences of having this like worm-like creature be like take over their bodies for a bit.
That's
Then
disgusting.
that worm-like creature gets taken out of their bodies and put in pids.
I'm gonna throw
later
up.
in life,
What is this?
later in life, they meet and become a relationship and get married and stuff. And
What the
meanwhile,
fuck?
these pids have that worm inside of them, so they get to have the like.
Stop the count.
If the pids are like having
What?
stress, if humans freak out, vice versa. It's fucking weird, experimental, and I loved it.
That sounds disgusting. I would have.
It is very grotesque at some points, but it's also really beautiful.
I would have went on the discussion board and just like went on a tirade.
Yeah, it's like one of the most unique film watching experiences I've had in a long time. Like it's very unnerving.
How long is
but
this?
towards
It's like
the end, it's very beautiful. It's like 96 minutes.
Oh, so it's a full length,
Yeah.
I thought it was like a short film. Okay.
I honestly really recommend it. The editing and sound are on a different level. Like it's crazy good. And I've never heard of this film besides like before this. So
me upstream.
Really surprised.
Wow, your film class really showing you out of the box.
Yeah, it's for
That's good.
Like disingenuous editing was the module for this one.
Okay, disingenuous editing. That's smart. I mean, I guess it's important to talk about that kind of editing. But wow, that's one of the craziest
crazy film. It's a lot more beautiful than probably my description though. Like there's a lot of beauty in it.
I can sense the sentimentality coming from your description there. But
Amy Semetz is the lead, if you know who that is.
Is that from SNL?
She was in Alien Covenant, You're Next.
Yeah.
How
you say your name? What's your last name? Amy Semetz.
Amy Semetz. Simetz.
Found it.
Yeah. She's also
a director. Okay. Yeah. She's familiar. Yeah.
She was really good.
What did I see her in? She looks familiar, but I don't think I saw any of her movies. I saw No Sudden Move, Alien Covenant. Oh, was she the girl in the shower scene?
I haven't seen it yet, so.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I watched Alien in theater. I actually talked about that too. I watched the first Alien in theaters again.
On in. Yeah, talk about an invasive, crazy movie.
Honestly, kind of similar.
Yeah. What a masterpiece! So, was this your first time or
no?
Second time?
I've seen it before. Second time.
Okay, but on the big screen, first time.
Yeah.
Lucky, yeah. I've seen.
Did you see it in theaters?
Nah. No. I didn't see any of the re-releases this month. Spider-Man movies.
There's so many.
Spider-Man movies are too far away.
Yeah.
Well, not too far away, but just like weekday movies are always a hassle for me, unless it's Friday. And then I love The Mummy, one of my favorite movies of all time, but I couldn't go back to see it.
I mean, this is more May, but I guess we did talk about it. I did watch The Mummy for the first time in theaters.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was fucking great.
Lucky bastard! I
was
fucking
really
love that movie. Like, if there was ever like a top 10 movies of all time for me, The Mummy's in there. I love that movie so much.
Yeah.
I used to quote that movie as a kid, like watching it way younger than I should have watched it. But anyways, we'll talk about that later. But Alien, I love Alien. It's one of the best horror movies of all time. did we ever do a top 10 horror list, or did we do a top 10?
We did 2010s horror.
2010s horror, yeah.
We thought in general would be too hard.
In general, it's too much.
Which I think we should still do at some point.
I think we should still do 2000 to 2010, or maybe the 90s,
or just like this horror in general.
80s, 90s,
we did narrow it down. I could.
It'll be interesting to see. I couldn't. I don't know if I could. I think I could back in. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but like I've expanded my horror horizon so much recently over the past couple of years. When I've used to been so far away from it. Honestly, I think Mike Flanagan kind of. What's up, Edgar? I think Mike Flanagan really opened my eyes to horror after pushing the envelope and finally watching Haunting of Hill House. I was like, wait, I can take this. I'm watching this at night, and I'm not dead. I'm alive. So I can. We're talking about horror, and he saw Alien in theaters, so we're kind of
re-releases,
talking about that re-releases. Yeah, and yeah, I think doing like a top 10 all-time horror. But yeah, Alien. Nothing much to say that hasn't already been said. It's a fantastic movie, great build-up in tension. That third act,
the atmosphere is crazy, man.
The atmosphere is insane. Yeah, and the lore, like it goes. It doesn't get talked about enough. Maybe it does. I'm an idiot, but like back in the 70s, everything was so fucking simple, but the lore was just as complex. Like it's literally a big mining ship. I think there's a crawling alien, right? There's a little. Is there a little
text before?
Text before.
Yeah.
And then boom, you get a mining ship. They see a planet, go on the planet, they take the alien back, but we're getting so much like world building through their actions. And it's incredibly fascinating. It kind of builds up their franchise. And then a whole alien catastrophe and getting to know the cast. It's still like the best introduction of the cast in any Alien movie.
I don't know. Alien, yeah. I would say The Thing probably does it better. As cast.
The cast, the Thing, you know me. I love The Thing. Things like peak.
They're similar movies, but I think The Thing's a bit better, but Alien is still great.
In terms of Alien, like I rewatched it. Nathan and I did a commentary of the franchise like 2 years ago, and it's like, man, Alien just does it great. Like we get to know every single cast member brilliantly, and then seeing them play off of each other. The whole twist, if you want to say it's a twist, with the android surprise of it all was incredible. And then of course Ripley is just one of the best main fictional characters ever. For me, she's just a great character, and yeah, I love how this movie goes from 0 to 100 with the quickness. It's great,
fun time.
How was the crowd? A little
interview? It was like barely anyone in the theater.
Oh, okay, oh no.
Yeah, they had a little interview with Fede Alvarez, and where do we stop before?
Oh, nice.
Where do we stop is my favorite grumpy old man in Hollywood.
He's the best. He's the best.
Yeah.
Get over it.
They asked him like, "Do you have anything else to add?" And he was like, "No."
Man, how old is that guy? He's just cranking out movies.
I love him so much.
He's like the better older version of what's his face, Guy Ritchie, just cracking them up.
Just
cracking out movies. Yeah,
keeps it going. It's like Hollywood's just like go make a movie. See you later. See you next year.
Good for him, honestly.
I should make him. Yeah. I should make that photo of him standing outside of like one rapper's like house, like wallpaper.
Who was that Snoop Dogg?
No. It was somebody else. I forgot who it was.
Somebody else. That was funny. That was hilarious.
Honestly, good for him that he had he's had bomb after bomb, but he still got enough funding for Gladiator 2. Like,
honestly, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Gladiator is like his first hit since like.
I think it will be. Yeah,
since The Martian. Yeah,
since The Martian, since 2015, right? Like, and he's been creaking out movies for a long time since then. It's crazy. Yeah, his run has just been great recently.
But speaking of horror and speaking of cast, I don't know if you guys have talked about it, but we could maybe get into Abigail.
We have not. I saved that for you.
Radio one we talked about was Monkey Man.
So. Yeah, we talked about Monkey Man. That's the Disney one. Yeah, it's good. With Monkey Man, I talked about. Have you seen the 1997 Anaconda, Edgar, with Jennifer Lopez?
Here's the thing: I've seen it a bunch of times because my mom loves that movie, but like I don't remember the whole thing. I just remember moments from it.
That's crazy. My mom was a big fan too. She showed me when I was a kid, and then we watched it with her earlier last month, and we loved it. But yeah, let's talk about Abigail here. Radio Silence's next or most recent big horror thriller here.
This movie. Okay, so I saw like a scene from like the scene where like Dan Stevens and Catherine Newton.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Spoiler.
Spoiler for Abigail, kind of.
Not really. It's not really a spoiler. It's just like the first scene of like them trying to like go after Abigail after they find out that she's a vampire, and they showed us that scene, and like just the energy of like that entire like sequence has. I was like, I'm sold. And then I watched the whole movie, and like I don't know how, but like those first two acts in particular have that energy like throughout, and it's just like so fucking, I don't know, entertaining to watch. Like Dan Stevens, his line delivery in this movie, mwah, chef's kiss.
They're fucking onions.
It's so good.
So good. Yeah, what a year he's having. I love this movie. I think Radio Silence just makes movies that are extremely entertaining, extremely relatable and modern, but with a great like big horror thriller sensibility. Because I think the first two acts are great in terms of like building up that like mystique, that intrigue, that tension,
the comedy,
as well. The physical comedy, like the small beats between each of the characters early on, is just magic. The scenes like just in the car with Catherine Newton and homeboy from Euphoria,
Cloud Angus.
Yeah, Angus, and it was just Angus Cloud. Yeah, just perfect comedy that kind of gets you to know each of the little ticks for each character before they get into like the crazy Abigail shenanigans in the second and third act. So we got bits and pieces of every character, and it was just a great intro for everybody.
Yeah, I want to highlight what's his name, Kevin Durand. Durand, yeah. I was not I've seen him in other movies, like for some reason I don't know why, but like I always remember him from fucking X-Men Origins, Wolverine.
He's in that
too, right?
He's the Blob or whatever that thing is.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I've seen him in other stuff, but like it didn't really like leave like an impression. And seeing him in this is just like such like a not just like a goofball, but like such like a sweetheart. And like his back and forth with like Catherine Newton is just like incredible.
It's so good. Their chemistry is great. I did not know he was fucking the Blob. That's wild. Looking at his,
fucking the Blob. Wait, what?
He was he was the Blob. That's a different movie. That's X-Men Origins rated R. Looking at his IMDb, I've seen a lot of his movies.
He's in Scooby-Doo too.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo, Primal, Legion, Real Steel, Walking Tall. Yeah,
310 to Yuma, the remake.
I've never seen that, but
it's really like a fucking character actor.
Yeah, I'm glad he's finally getting a great year with himself with this and Apes. But yeah, like his character was really surprising because again, I haven't really seen him, fully fleshed out like this, and this character really played to his strengths in terms of like that not quiet, but just the foreboding intensity kind of character, but also a gentle-ish soul, despite his appearance. Very comedic as well. Again, his relationship with Catherine Newton, who has a decently sized horror background, of course, with the Paranormal Activity franchise.
She was in that?
Yes, she was in 4. Yes, which isn't a good one, but she's solid in it.
But Freaky and Lisa Frankenstein.
Yeah, I always forget that she's in. She's the Reese Witherspoon's daughter in Big Little Lies.
Yeah.
Oh god, that first season is so good. Man,
incredible.
So happy they never made another season, right, guys? That would have been crazy.
We're in another one, apparently.
No, I'm not watching. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I'm good. That second season, no lies, it's one of the worst seasons I've ever seen of anything.
It's not that bad.
It's horrible.
No.
It's bad, but like in an entertaining.
Well, Laura Dern.
No, it wasn't. I was bored. I was bored. Laura Dern walking on the highway. I'm like, so
great, hilarious, and eating it up.
They're like, hey, Laura Dern, you know what you did in the first season? Just do some crazy shit in the second one. People are going to eat it up. Yeah. Not me.
It's maybe I was that person.
Hey, he gave us that meme of the "It's my house." And
exactly. Bernard
God.
Twine, great character. But yeah, Abigail is a
yeah.
blast. Radio
It-
Silence have so much sauce.
It's a blast, and they kind of deliver the big twist in the trailer that Abigail is a vampire, but
That's not the
there's
twist though.
it's not the twist exactly. There's so much
Yeah.
more that's revealed about the characters, about like the setting of like this whole mansion, what's really going on here, the kind of mystery between it all. I just had so much fun watching this. Their interactions, their chemistry with the whole cast was great. Abigail, the girl who plays Abigail, fantastic, a great performance.
Yeah, Matilda.
What do you mean? What?
She was in the Matilda musical from Matilda.
Oh, the Netflix one? Was that Netflix?
Yeah, she is Matilda, I think.
Yeah, I need to watch that. I love the first
great.
original Matilda. I never watched the remake or musical version. Maybe now I'll watch it because I liked her a lot in this movie. So yeah, I just had a blast watching this, and yeah, Melissa Barrera, fantastic. Dan Stevens, fantastic. There was no weak link at all in this movie.
One of the better ensembles so far of the year.
Yeah.
Easily, and this has been a good year for ensembles. Of course, if you want to count like Dune, this movie. A good year
Another
for
one we'll talk
ensembles.
about at the end.
Madam Web.
Madam Web. I mean, come on, guys. Woo-wee. Lift had a great ensemble.
Really range of performances in Madam Web.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say though about Abigail, like I don't dislike the third act, but like it kind of like loses like its
steam
moment. Yeah, like its momentum. Maybe because like characters are like starting to like die out, and you get less and less.
The state's kind of get a bit muddy.
Yeah, like now we can get into spoilers. Like Dan Stevens like making that switch to like being like a villain.
I liked it. It was fun.
It's interesting.
He's playing it well, but like the movie was almost like building up to like him kind of like accepting other people to like help him, like almost like like trying to redeem himself, and then it goes back to like the same thing. Which I mean, I guess maybe that's the point. But
I think it's a point. That's an interesting point you make there. I was kind of trying to track his character progression. I think it does make sense. I lean more towards Josh, where like I think it makes sense in terms of his going down the evil route. Like fuck it, he's an ex-cop. He kind of wants that control that he kind of lost ever since this vampire encounter. He wants that control again. I think the kind of his fuck it, I'm just gonna become all powerful is kind of good. And it kind of led to some interesting power displays in terms of like how the power system works for these vampires. And I think one of my favorite lines of the year was just like when he tries to like control her, it's like it just doesn't work. And she says something along the lines of like, you haven't practiced that yet, or you have to get old enough to be able to master it, kind of thing, before she kills him or something. It was very hilarious. So it's just very interesting through that. I kind of liked it. And then the spoilers again, the pure terror when the father appears. I was like, holy shit. It was just a great physical presence in that scene. And this like might be all set in the same Ready or Not universe, teased by the directors.
Really?
When they were interviewing, where Perry was interviewing them, she was like, I love Ready or Not. It's just kind of, what's going on here. And I think they mentioned something along the lines of like,
I mean, they're both this one's obviously very supernatural, but Ready or Not has like tinges of that.
Exactly. And I think he said he mentioned like one of the paintings might be like a tease for a Ready or Not connection.
We are getting Ready or Not sequel, so maybe they.
We are. Which I'm kind of like interested about. Like, how do they make that work, especially if they're not?
I don't know. I am nervous because I do want more Samara Weaving and horror. Like that's great. I'd love to see her more in this universe, but without Radio Silence directing, makes me a bit worried.
It does. I mean, I'm both ways. I'm like, I would have liked it more if it's just a new cast of characters, because Samara already survived, and now she's back. It's like, how's it going to work?
Why is she back?
Why is she back? Exactly. I would like a new cast. If they want to do a new director, a new cast, make it all fresh. But maybe it's kind of like a Final Destination 2 thing where she's the survivor and she helps out a new cast when they go through the horror.
Maybe.
That could
what would that story be?
I don't know. Sell me on it, baby.
Someone have to kill her, maybe, to stop the curse. Someone marry her.
Exactly. But yeah, so Abigail, very fun time. I think best horror movie of the year so far. I haven't seen First Omen, so
I think
That's-
I liked it more than First Omen,
I
personally.
like the first Omen better.
Should we
oh
segue that, I guess?
Sure.
oh, was this April? I thought that was March.
You
Okay.
can start this as you watched the Omen for the first time too.
I did, yeah.
A lot of omens.
Great movie. You know, classic
Which-
horror movie.
When did the first one come out? When, the early
70s,
2000s?
I think.
Oh, 70s. Oh shit. Never mind.
76 before Superman.
Gregory Peck. Great
wait,
in the
how
movie.
many sequels? So it's The Omen, and then this the most. Is it The Omen, and then this
Omen,
the
Omen 2, or Damien Omen 2. Then
I think it's like
the
4
remake.
sequels, and then
Wow.
the remake, and then
Then
this.
this. Yeah.
But this is like a
Wow,
prequel to the first one. Yeah,
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. Interesting.
You haven't seen this, Evan?
Not a lick. Not at all.
Mm.
it's great.
The first
love-
Omen, the original, it's really fun. Jerry Goldsmith's score is like what stood out to me the most. Fantastic atmosphere.
Yeah. It's a very different.
It's really good
kind of
vibes. I think
horror.
The Exorcist does it better, but I think this is still really solid.
I think they're very different in terms of like what they do with horror. Like The Exorcist is just a straight supernatural like exorcism movie, while this movie is more like
There's
it's almost
somewhere
like it's almost like Final Destination in the sense where like people are dying off and people are trying to find out why it's happening, and
Yeah.
and that would be like a closer comparison that I could draw to. But like going to like this one with the first Omen, like I don't think I've been as uncomfortable with a horror movie as I was with this one in a bit. Not so much because like there are jump scares and stuff like that. Like thankfully not as many, but for me like what got me was like the body horror stuff in this. There's a scene towards the end where like they're very clearly like paying homage to like Possession, from like 1981, I think.
That shit
but
was
it's-
good. Yeah.
It's fucking great. Like this movie made me want to go watch Possession for the first time, and I did, and it's fantastic. We can get into it later. No, but yeah, like the first Omen, like what's the girl's name? Like the main girl, she's fucking fantastic.
Margaret or Neil
Uh,
Tiger Free, the actress.
Yeah, Neil Tiger Free. She's incredible.
Yeah, she's fucking great.
I was like, why do I recognize you? Where have I seen you before? And then I searched it up, and I think she's like Cersei's daughter in Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, like it's incredible. Like the atmosphere in this movie is so fucking eerie,
Okay, yeah.
and the direction, it's so freaking good. Like that sequence, like that it's paying like homage to the original of like there's like a suicide thing that happens. Again,
The cold open, basically, right?
yeah, basically the cold open, yeah.
Yeah, with
Um,
Charles Dance. Oh man, God. Great
Yeah,
shit.
it's great. It's fucking incredible. Like the score in this, it maybe not as good as the original, but it's still like it kind of gets there.
Yeah, does
and,
it? Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some imagery with like a certain like hand that is so fucking creepy. Again, going back to body horror aspect, it's ingrained in my mind, and I also kind of love that there's a creature in the movie that you don't really see, but once you see it, like kind of like in the distance towards the end, again, like it's just like that sense of dread and like kind of like
Mm-hmm.
reminds me of like Rosemary's Baby, or like I would say like Rosemary's Baby in the sense of like there's this thing that keeps haunting this poor woman, but she doesn't really know what it is, and once she realizes it's what it is, it's just like it hits you like a bus. It's great.
Yeah, it was really solid. Great direction, what you said. It's a great movie, great horror movie, great like spiritual horror.
I might have to check
The
out
ending was really
the.
fun. I
you
know
like
Edgar
it?
doesn't like it, but I really like.
I don't like it.
You don't like the ending of the first movie or the old
No,
one?
it's not that I don't
Especially
like
the road
ending.
one for the first movie.
Yeah, like it's not that I just like the entire third act. Just like the very last scene of the movie, it's just like very like
It's fun.
almost like those credits like very MCU, like
Yeah.
oh, we need to get people back together for this,
I think
and I'm
it
like,
works.
what is that? Like if this was like a movie like the Pope's Exorcist, like I wouldn't give a shit, but like it doesn't match the tone. Like the whole movie is very serious, and then boom, you
Yeah.
get hit with
It is
this.
out of place. I will say
Yeah.
that.
Hmm. Interesting.
What would you call like, because like obviously this is like a prequel, but it also almost feels like like a legacy thing. What would you call that? Legacy prequel?
I think just prequel.
Prequel?
Yeah. White Road 1.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, I just wait to see prequel. It is. I don't know.
Interesting.
Decades later, prequel.
Since you've seen both, what do you like better, this or Immaculate? Because they have very similar vibes.
Yeah, probably this. I think Immaculate, the ending, like, is the best part of that movie,
Better,
but
yeah.
the rest of it,
Generic.
it's very solid. Yeah, generic. Whereas this is really, I think the cinematography is fucking great here and doing some more interesting things.
Yeah.
Watch it, Evan.
You know,
And the original.
I put it on my list. I put the original on my list. I watched the original first, see how I feel, and then I'll.
I think the original is on Disney Plus now. I guess now that it's combined with Hulu. But...
I just saw. Yeah, it's on Hulu. Well, it'll still be on Hulu for me. If I try and watch Hulu stuff on Disney Plus, it says like, oh, you know, get the bundle. I'm good.
Oh, you don't have it yet?
Nah.
Why not? Just get it.
Should I get the bundle?
You're already paying for Hulu, right?
What? So look. So if I get the bundle, does the bundle include like no commercials?
There's an option to pay like an add-on fee for no ads. That's what I do for
But like,
Hulu.
if you're already paying for both, then might as well.
Like, would it? So the original Disney Plus plus a no commercials Hulu, is that price lower than the bundle or higher than the bundle?
See, I don't know how it is for me because I got the bundle through Verizon like a couple years ago. So
I have the one
still ad free for me apparently, and I just paid $5 extra or like on top of that to get Hulu with no ads.
Wow. I have the bundle, and I think it's like $10 with ads. So without ads, I'm assuming it's 15.
No,
but the bundle,
I'm assuming. I'm not
it's
sure
more expensive now.
Pretty
I think
good.
It's like 12, 15.
I'm paying like 15 alone for Hulu.
Yeah, but hey guys, David Zaslav is coming to Disney Plus now. Okay.
Whew, the savior.
There's also a lot of like student stuff, but I don't know if you could qualify for that, Evan.
I'll try.
For teacher, probably. Yeah. There's discounts for teachers now.
I got a great teacher discount for my phone. I'm getting a lot of discounts for my phone bill a month.
What do you use? Verizon?
For Verizon, yes.
You could probably get the Disney bundle for free then.
Okay, I'll hit them up.
You should look into it. Yeah,
I'll look into it. I love free. Free's great. But okay. So that was Abigail.
That was your monthly Disney talk.
Edgar's always just like helping me out with
our chats from Bob Iger now.
I know, right? Edgar's always helping me out with like my TV, my 4K, now my bundle. He's really hitting me up here.
That's still one of the best moments we've had.
They haven't announced which months the bundle with Max is coming, huh? Because I would want to get that with before House of the Dragon, but
they said the summer, so we just gotta. Edgar's such a consumer. I
don't want to pay separate for all of this shit.
I don't either. They put us. They dug us into a hole, and they're throwing us the rope that they put us in. It's like
we fucking destroyed this fucking industry for no fucking reason, and now we're going back to where we were.
Right? Yeah. I still have cable because I gotta watch my Survivor and my Big Brother.
I have Matt's through cable, so. No 4K though, which is what's fucking sucks.
Oh damn, that's unfortunate.
I get 4K, but no Dolby Vision.
They paywalled that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Oh my god, these greedy fuckers, man.
Anyway,
wait, so 4K is a separate pay raise.
I don't fucking know.
For Dolby Vision, it's another one
because it doesn't make sense. So I don't get. I think I get 4K. I'm actually not sure, but I know for sure I don't get Dolby Vision because like things like House of the Dragon are in Dolby Vision. But like the thing is, I get Dolby Atmos, so it makes no sense. Like,
that's weird.
That's so weird. I never had that like any of that taken off on my HBO. It's just always been on there.
And like the reason why I can check is because my soundboard tells me when something has like the audio track, what type of audio track it is, and I can listen to Dolby Atmos, but I can't get the Dolby Vision.
Do you know why that is?
I don't fucking know.
Also, I don't know.
How are you watching it? Like, what are you watching it on PlayStation?
Just my TV, like a smart TV.
Smart TV.
But it shouldn't make a difference. Like I get everything else. Like Netflix is fine. even though if I
That's
can pay
good.
like $25. But
Ugh.
those fuckers.
Netflix is just way too high. I'm like, man.
Crazy.
But, like, I still watch
Netflix.
Netflix every week, but like I always feel like I should just take away my Netflix.
I
but I'm
haven't put on
watching-
Netflix since like probably House of Usher.
Wow, I'm watching
I
stuff.
don't know if anything's coming out this year.
You know, speaking of Netflix,
What?
speaking of
No,
Netflix,
God.
I'm not gonna get into it too much, but I did watch Three Body Problems, and
Oh,
Oh.
I know what happens in the books, but I haven't read them. And just like watching the show, very solid, very cool, interesting, different type of sci-fi that I haven't seen before. I really like the concept of it's not really a spoiler, but like the concept of aliens getting in contact with humanity, warning them that they're gonna come and invade Earth, but it's not gonna happen in like 400 years. So the show is kind of like figuring out how to advance technology to prepare themselves in 400 years for the invasion, while
Arrival.
the aliens are like watching every single step of the way. So it's a very interesting type, again, very different kind of sci-fi. And for what it's worth, it's pretty well written. There's your
Oh.
occasional Benioff and Weiss where like they're just like throwing
Well
like,
written, Benioff and Wise.
no,
what's going on here,
no.
Edgar?
Well, there's a third writer and like an actual Chinese
Okay.
writer. but like it's funny because like
Giving them all the
there's-
credit.
it's funny because like at certain points you can see like their style of like, you know how in Game of Thrones like characters would just like talk like they were in a fucking Quentin Tarantino movie, or like, oh fuck this, fuck that, blah, 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 blah. And that's how certain characters like talk, and it's very obnoxious. And I'm like, but then like once
Isaac
it's
Gonzalez is in this.
who?
Okay. Isaac Gonzalez.
Yeah, it's a pretty good cast. It's pretty well acted too. I really like the concept. It's really good.
So the concept's good, but what was the weakest point for you?
For me, I think would be like the pacing.
That's what I
Also,
heard.
yeah, like it's not the best. It kind of takes a while to get going. I would say like for me, I kind of got hooked like maybe halfway through, like episode 4. Like there's something that happens with the sky in particular on
It's
Earth.
falling.
I don't know. Watch the show. That's when I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. But like, it does take a while to like get there, and you feel the runtime.
Gotcha.
Hey,
My
this
aunt.
is this is
What?
that show with the weird controversy or whatever with the
The
producer being
that-
poisoned.
Yeah, they got killed.
Jesus.
I was joking with a few coworkers, like some Game of Thrones fans must have put like a curse on those two because there's no way.
That's crazy. But yeah, my aunt said I would really love it because I'm a huge, sci-fi nerd. So I might watch it eventually. I was just so turned off by Benioff and Weiss. I was like, it doesn't look that.
Same.
And the trailers never really
Doesn't
appealed
look
to
good.
my
Yeah.
sensibilities. So I'm
Also,
like,
visually, it doesn't look the best, which is weird
Yeah.
to say. Guys that made that
It
fucking
looks
show
really
that looked
dark
fucking
and
great.
bland.
Yeah, it looks bland. And
and it was
guess
so expensive.
yeah, but I guess that's also like the point because like the big visuals of the movie, they take place like in a virtual reality kind of like thing.
Mhm.
Maybe that's a way that you can justify why it looks the way it looks, but still, it's not the best.
Was
Okay.
Citadel them also, or was it Russo brothers?
That's Russo brothers.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought
That was the Amazon one. Yeah.
I don't know how.
also a flop.
But like, you know what, like good for all of these people like them too and Ryan Johnson just casually getting like $200 million checks from Netflix to do absolutely
Wait,
nothing.
Ryan's attached to this?
Executive producer.
Also, Rosamund Pike and Brad Pitt, they're producers on it too.
Oh.
Oh, is this like a T Street thing?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know if it's T Street, but I know he was involved.
That's weird.
Good old Ryan and Ram. So yeah, I have to watch this. I've been keeping track of like the Netflix numbers on a weekly basis, and it's not doing so well numbers wise in terms of viewership. They're
This
kind
will
of
tell you it was the #1 show for like 2 weeks.
What was?
Three Body Problem.
Oh, the one. Yeah.
They always like nobody believes them.
Exactly. It's kind of hard to tell these days. So I'm very curious if it'll get a second season. If it does, then I'll probably watch it. But if not, then I'll probably hold off on watching it indefinitely. That's how it is for Netflix these days. If it's not getting a renewal, then why should I invest money or time? Right? I mean, in terms of watching it. I've been watching on
Street
Netflix.
was involved in the Three Body Problem.
Okay. I've been watching this reality show on Netflix called Physical 100, the South Korean like trying to find the perfect physique, and they do like all these physical insane challenges. I watched season 1 and season 2 this year on Netflix, and it's very fun. If you're a fan of like reality TV like me, I watch a lot of reality TV. But if you're a fan of reality TV, physical competitions, brute strength, a lot of these muscle activities.
Is this like American Ninja Warrior?
Basically, yeah. It's like the South Korean version of American Ninja, but better edited. American reality TV is just not up to snuff unless you're like Survivor.
Wipeout.
Wipeout's decently edited as well. But also, I remember somebody talking to me like, hey, it's still on like some random channel. I didn't know American Ninja Warrior was still on. I thought that got canceled. But
I watched a bit of Wipeout, but I watched the original Japan version. I forgot what it was called.
Because there was a Japan version that the Americans kind of remade. It's always better overseas. It's always better overseas. That's like the kind of reality TV rule. And if you're on Netflix, watch The Devil's Plan, which was my second favorite show of 2023. Reality. It's like an intelligence reality competition show where these 12 contestants are stuck in a house. And if you contribute to
MSC, that was that show. Yeah,
you said NSC.
MSC,
the Wipeout original one,
the Japan version. Yeah,
Japan version. I think I've seen that.
It was on Spike.
Maybe. So yeah, I've been watching Netflix for reality TV. Again, the show Warrior on Netflix. It came from HBO, but now it's on Netflix. The show Warrior, which is with Andrew Koji in 1900s San Francisco, going against like a lot of these other Asian gangs, the cops, the drug cartels. It's a fantastic show. So Warrior on Netflix, please watch it because I hope it gets a season 4 renewal because it left HBO because it wasn't getting like good viewership. HBO kind of sorted off to Netflix. And hopefully Netflix gives it a second chance for a final season. So watch Warrior on Netflix.
Not to make this a streaming talk again, but I'm wondering how the numbers for those 3 streaming services is gonna do after they combine all together, compared to like how they are separately. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it depends how many people actually buy the bundle. People just are usually put off by the concept of a bundle. Even when you're telling me about the Hulu Disney stuff, I was like, I don't know how it's gonna do in terms of like cost and no commercials and that kind of stuff. So, I think that will be the big deciding factor. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. There we go. So what else do we have here?
We have 2 big releases left, I think.
Oh, before we get into Challengers and Fall Guy, I saw the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, the Guy Ritchie movie.
I did too.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Yeah.
One of us. I didn't know. I can always count on Edgar to see the random shit that I always see too.
Yeah.
I wanted to see this, but I couldn't find time for it.
It was fun. I'm a huge fan of like simple, crazy Guy Ritchie movies. I think this one wasn't as good as his other past endeavors. Especially, he did the Jake Gyllenhaal.
You should have seen every Ritchie movie that's come out, have you? Recently.
In the modern era, yeah. I still haven't seen some of his early stuff. He did some early movies I just have not seen or had the time to see.
The only film I've seen from him still is Aladdin.
That's crazy to me. I do like Aladdin, though. I think Aladdin's very good.
I need to watch Sherlock Holmes. That's one I'm interested in.
That's crazy. You haven't seen Sherlock Holmes. I saw those like in theaters on DVD tons of times growing up. Anyways,
is the Aubrey Plaza one good?
Nah, wasn't that good. It was fine. I think this is better than the Aubrey Plaza one.
The Gentleman is good.
The Gentleman is great. The Gentleman's like peak Guy Ritchie, that's for sure. Really kept me on my toes. But Ungentlemanly Warfare, awful title, decent movie. I think the cast was solid. Henry Cavill was good. It just, I couldn't get a sense of their true chemistry. I didn't realize how split they'd be throughout the entire movie, and I think that kind of is a detriment to this ensemble cast overall. The action sequences aren't anything special, unlike his other movies. He even didn't really utilize like the slow mo to his effect as he usually does in a lot of his fun action movies. So the fun factor was kind of diminished to an extent, but overall, it was an enjoyable time. It wasn't not entertaining. It was a good ride.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like okay, so like by the time you get to the end of the movie, you kind of get a recap of, because it's supposed to be like true events. You kind of get a recap of like who ended up with who. Like there's like two characters that end up getting married.
Oh, dude, yes.
They barely share any scenes together in the movie.
I was baffled because there's a scene at the very end. I don't want to spoil, but it's just like Henry Cavill's looking off. Fine. Spoilers for Ungentlemanly Warfare. If you want to see it, it's probably out on digital already. And like Henry Cavill is supposed to be romantically connected to Isaac Gonzalez's character.
He's in this.
yeah. Henry's the main character.
Popping up everywhere.
And it's hilarious because Isa is in a totally different plot line than
totally different movie.
Totally different movie too. Yeah, basically. She's like in this fucking Inglourious Basterds kind of movie, and he's on some kind of Guy Ritchie movie. It's really weird. But anyways, they're supposed to be romantically connected. By the third act, like they're like, we gotta wait for her, and he kind of looks off in the distance to wait for her to get up on the ship. Then she gets on, and then I think was that a moment? Sure.
Wait, do they never share the screen besides that?
Besides the third act, like the last 10 minutes of the movie, it's wild to me. Like I think they share like one scene when they first like meet up as a group, and he kind of looks at her. I'm like, maybe that's because he just likes women. I don't know, but it was just weird. And then the third act is like, oh, they got married. Like that's bullshit. Like I got no sense of any kind of romantic.
He had more chemistry with Alan Richardson than
he really did. And Alan Richardson was the scene stealer. He was fantastic. He was great. I haven't seen his Jack Reacher TV series on Amazon, but my parents love it, so I'll have to watch it eventually.
Yeah, that's a dad show.
Total dad show. So I watched a lot of the Jack Ryan shows. I just haven't gotten to the Jack Reacher. I love the Tom Cruise movies though. But anyways, yeah, Alan Richardson was great. Huge guy, but great character, great personality on screen.
Huge.
Awesome with the bow and arrow. Yes, he's huge. He's tall.
that's the first thing you say about
what?
Tiny glasses.
Huge guy, tiny glasses, exactly. But yeah, I think the pacing was kind of off. It was very mixed pacing, low stakes, which for Guy Ritchie movie, I kind of need some like solid stakes. Even in the movie like The Gentleman, like the stakes are set up early on, given like the emotional backdrop to Statham's character in The Gentleman, and it kind of sets up like the intensity for the rest of the movie.
This one, The Wrath of Man.
I'm talking Wrath of Man. But the Gentleman also really solid. Doesn't have. I've seen Guy Ritchie movies. Just put him in a blender for me. So I'm sorry, but The Gentleman doesn't have a lot of stakes, but like the interconnection between each of the gangs in the movie kind of makes it appealing. But anyways, yeah, go see Wrath of Man too. In this movie, even though it's set in a war and it's like we need to do this or the Germans are going to win the war or whatever, it's like I never felt like edge in my seat or kind of like, are they going to make this? Because they seem nigh unbeatable from the very beginning. Like there was no sense of like, are they not going to make it? Because of course they're going to make it. I didn't see any kind of stakes for any of the characters throughout any of this. So yeah, that was kind of a letdown for that as well.
Some people in this movie are completely wasted, like Henry Golden. Why even is he in this movie?
What's he doing in this movie? Is he the
Nothing.
shit guy? Poor Henry Golden.
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Is this a spiritual sequel to like Man from Uncle?
No. It's supposed to be real life, Josh.
Wait, really?
Yes, it's a true story about what happened during World War II. They're trying to defeat the German U-boats, I think.
Oh, it's a World War II movie? Okay.
World War II. Do your research, Josh. History. I can give you a lesson. I'm a history teacher. I have a degree for a reason.
I'm good.
Only school he has time for is film school. But yeah. So that was a fun movie.
Enough normal history.
Let's dive into the big hitters.
I have one more actually.
Okay. Yeah.
It's,
we didn't do Civil War yet.
That's another big hitter. 3.
Oh yeah.
Civil War.
Before that, I have another little film. Quite possibly the film of the generation. It is Sasquatch Sunset.
Oh, I've heard about this.
You know about this? Okay.
It's from Sundance, right?
Is shitting, fucking, and walking around.
Yeah, you lost me there.
It's no dialogue, a lot of grunts, and it's somehow fucking a beautiful story of family and like environmentalism. It's this is what what the movies are all about, you know.
Was Sasquatch?
Huh?
Are these actual Sasquatches in the movie?
No, it's Riley Keough and Jesse Eisenberg in Sasquatch suits.
Okay, got it.
And this might be Riley Keough's best performance, which is crazy.
Wow.
She's doing a lot. It's something you have to see to understand. I think I can't really.
I'm sure. I remember this premiering at Sundance, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Yeah, not an Evan movie.
Not an Evan movie. No.
Very much a Josh movie, though.
And an Edgar movie, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Edgar sees everything. What's not an Edgar movie? That's the question.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this. Yeah, it looked interesting. It looked like. So did it lean into the comedy, or was it trying to be very sincere?
It's hilarious.
Okay, got it.
It does both, but like it's fucking funny.
That's good.
It's based on what you're seeing on screen,
Good.
and the editing really supplements that really well.
Okay.
The story is kind of like serene and beautiful. Have you guys heard the movie First Cow? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I had not seen it, but I've heard it.
It's kind of like First Cow, but for sickos. Is how I.
Isn't that Kelly Reichendt chart, something like that?
Right, yeah.
What was the other movie she did? I thought I saw one of her movies.
She did Certain Woman. She did Showing Up, which I saw last year. Both from Shelley Williams. Yeah, it's a really, really good watch.
Good for you. How many movies are you at right now for 2024, Josh?
Edgar's probably more than me.
Edgar probably at 50.
27.
Oh, dang, you're ahead. Yeah, I'm at 23.
36 tonight with apes, maybe.
Of course you are.
Of course you are. He's probably in the bottom of the barrel Netflix movies.
Haven't seen a lot of them, actually.
Me neither, actually. I still haven't seen the second Rebel Moon movie.
I forgot to come out.
I'll wait for the extended cut. That will probably never come out.
Probably not. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at Edgar's list and see what I'm missing this year.
You want me to bring up the list?
Well, I have my private for a reason.
Well, we could remove that one, but yeah.
I haven't fixed my list yet.
I did bring up mine. Give me one second.
Do your list.
I watched a movie that I'm gonna save for next month. That's like at the bottom of my list. Tarot,
yeah.
Yeah.
Bottom of your list. You saw Tarot? That's with the Jacob Babylon, right?
Yeah, Babylon. Yeah.
The Spider-Man guy.
Yeah. It's not like my least favorite movie of the year, but it's like 33 out of 35.
Is it better than Lift?
Yes.
Lift.
The Kevin Hart classic. What do you mean? Oh man, that's funny.
So let me bring up my list. This would segue to our last three because they are both all three in my top 10.
Interesting. So where should we start off here? Civil War, then Challengers, then Fall Guy.
So yeah,
Jesus Frankenstein.
Love that movie. But yeah, I have Fall Guy at 5. I love that movie.
It's great.
Yeah. Then at the bottom,
Wait, scroll up again. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good list, solid list. I like this.
Then there's obviously
like
one that we can't show. That's in the middle.
What?
You know, Evan. Don't
You
act
know
like
it.
don't pretend. Don't pretend.
The movie we saw last year.
Oh, why would you even put that in your list?
Because I saw it.
But I mean, you can't. Okay, I guess
I have it privated.
Yeah, I have mine private too.
Fuckers. You can just say you saw it without putting it on a list. You know, you don't have to put it on the
Well,
list.
I have to. I saw it though. It's a movie.
You letterbox and purist. Anyways,
So what should we start with?
let's talk about Civil War. Start from the bottom. Oh, we got a runner. But Civil War, great. Directed by the GOAT. I love Alex Garland. I have not seen Men. Sure. He's the GOAT at directing Alex Garland movies. You know, he's good at directing his own movies. Fair. I have not seen Men, but I adore Annihilation and I adore Ex Machina.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen his Hulu series Devs, but some of my friends liked that.
I need to watch it.
It was like a sci-fi show with a guy from Parks and Rec. Anyways, I really like Challenge. I like Challenge a lot too, but I really like Civil War. This was a phenomenal movie, one of the best looking movies of the year, in my opinion. Just cinematography was just outstanding for me, at least.
That was good.
It was just very in terms of getting immersed into like this chaotic and unnerving world that they were inhabiting. I thought it was really moving.
I also found it like very like a really great way to contrast the subject matter because it's a very vibrant movie given the subject matter.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I was just I didn't expect it to be like a road trip kind of movie, but I was so immersed in, you know, one of the best traits of a great movie is like kind of thinking, what would I do in that situation? And of course, I can't really relate to the how do I describe it? Like the dark nature of these reporters in a way, really getting in there and like being so close to death and decay and the kind of like environment. I can't really relate to that, but it was so interesting to see their perspective during this war, during these events, and see their thoughts and see all their actions, or see their thoughts via these like extremely close up shots that are extremely unnerving and unsettling a lot of the time. Kirsten Dunst is fantastic, but Kaylee Spaney, woo-wee. My dad was not a fan, but I was a huge fan. I was a huge fan of Kaylee Spaney's character, and trying to track her arc in comparison or in contrast to Kirsten Dunst's character was very fascinating as well. Seeing them like coincide and then kind of depart at the very end was a very interesting narrative choice that I really liked. I had a great time with this entire movie. The only small tidbit, I need to get into spoilers with this movie, by the way. Spoilers for Civil War. Go watch it. It's the second highest grossing A24 movie. The only criticism I had was just like the death scene at the very end. It kind of took me out in a sense. Like I kind of could see it coming, but it's not like a good see it coming like Challengers. That specific moment at the very end of Challengers was like, oh yeah. This one was like I could sense that Kaylee Spaney is, of course, going into a very dark path at the very end of the movie, risking herself, while Kirsten Dunst is kind of like really feeling the repercussions, or not repercussions, but just like the mental drain of all her livelihood, basically. When she saves Kaylee Spaney's character at the very end, it just felt like, why did she? I know time has slowed down a little bit, but it felt like she accepted that she was going to die because she's kind of pushed her down and just stood there. And I was like, was that an active choice of the movie? So that did she purposely stand there to purposely die? Why didn't she just tuck and roll? Am I supposed to be thinking about these things? It just felt like she stood there for far too long, and I couldn't tell if that was purposeful or not, and I couldn't get that out of my head after watching the movie. I do like the execution of the repercussion of her choice in terms of Kaylee Spaney getting that final shot. I think that nails like her arc. But Kirsten Dunst's death, I was like, did she mean to die? Did she not mean to die there? Was she accepting of her death? Did you guys think about that shot at all? That's just
I think the key scene, the key moment to understand like the ending for me is again, spoilers. When you go to like Stephen Henderson's death, like earlier in the second act.
Yes.
And like there's something that Wagner's character says that, oh, we need to go to DC so his life makes sense. Like he didn't die for nothing. And as soon as he says that, it's like, no, he did die for something. He didn't die for a story. He died to save his friends. He died to save you guys. And I kind of and then you see that entire sequence plays out, and Kristen Dunst's character is like, she takes a picture of him, but she makes the conscious decision of deleting it. And then you go.
He was so torn by that death, but not towards Kristen Dunst's death.
Yeah. And then you go to, again, what happens at the end of the movie, where she is the one who dies, and basically the same series of events happens, but it happens to her. To me, it almost feels like,
is she sacrificing herself though? Is she
that's what I'm asking. Yeah, like she stood there for far too long. Was she
just like pushing herself to get the shot?
Yeah. I don't know if I would say she was like purposely like sacrificing herself, but like I think she was almost trying to like do the same thing that her mentor did for her. To die, though. Yeah.
You think so, Josh, or you don't?
I don't.
You don't? Then why did she push out of the way and just stand there?
Because she
pushed out of the way. Right? Kristen Dunst, yes.
I mean, I think it was just like a mix of shock, because throughout the third act, she's just like in constant like distress. Like she's not like.
Doesn't she just stand like move out to get the shot in the center?
At the end of the movie, when she saves Kaylee.
Yeah. Oh wait, is she saving Kaylee?
Yeah. She pushes her.
Maybe I'm just remembering.
Yeah, Kaylee's in the middle of the hallway. You know, the hallway transition. They're shooting back and forth. Kaylee times it terribly wrong. And she's about to get shot.
It's going back to other. Okay,
She's about to get shot by Secret Service. Kristen tracks it and pushes her out the way and gets shot by the Secret Service. And that was just how I was just confused by it. Like, is she accepting her death? But I think Edgar correctly points out that she was not in the right state of mind at all. In that third act, she was kind of really reeling from all her past traumas. So yeah, continue, Edgar. Sorry.
Yeah.
You were saying.
And like, no, just to finish off, like I like, you already mentioned it. Like I love like Dunst and Spaney's character progression of how like you see Spaney almost like this innocent, like naive photojournalist, like wanting to go to a place where Dunst is, and you're like, she's like kind of like slowly losing her, I don't know, what would you call it, like, no, not necessarily soul, but like she's like getting desensitized to all of this shit.
Yeah, that's a good way, because these people are still human. They're just very much desensitized to reality and violence.
And then you have Kristen Dunst, who is like very much like, I've seen this, like this is nothing new to me. But then like I find it very interesting that the death of like about Henderson's death, that's when like they meet for the first time, like they're all reacting like actual human beings, and that's where like they kind of like part ways. Like Dunst kind of like regains that sense of like shock and almost like humanity, whereas Kaylee Spaney like loses it. And again going back to like the third act, like I think that for me is like so effective. It's like it's almost like a passing of the baton, but like in a very fucked up way.
In a very unfortunate way. That's a great call. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I found it very fascinating how Wagner's character was so troubled by his death in the car. And he's kind of like upset. I think he's upset mainly because in his mind, he died for nothing, quote unquote. Like he didn't get to DC. He didn't get to the mission. But in contrast, Kirsten Dunst dies. That was his friend he knew presumably for longer, had a closer connection with. When she dies in the White House, he kind of moves along. And I kind of took that to mean like, okay, he's less upset because she died doing the mission, doing the scoop, doing like her job, her occupation, and he kind of moves on to like the big prize, which is the president. which by the end was a fantastic line. It's like any last words or any final line or whatever. He says, "Please don't kill me." Like that'll do, or whatever. Like it's very cut, dry, short, and just it felt very raw in that moment. Kind of love that part of the movie. So overall, yeah, I thought this was a very enthralling movie. I was very captivated by all the performances. I had a great time with this. I think this is a big success for Alex Garland. And I was kind of doubting it because I'm a huge fan of his sci-fi material, and this is just pure, intense drama, and it really blew me away.
And also, like, just one last thing, like, I really don't give a fuck about like the context of the war, the civil war that's happening. Like, that's not the point of the movie. Like, if you don't get it by the opening scene with the bombing, then you're just not gonna get it. Like, that's not the point of the movie. Like,
yeah, I agree. It's funny. Yeah, people take a lot of things where, and we're gonna mention this when we go to challenges as well, where it's like that's not the point of the movie. The movie is trying to make a statement about a certain topic or an aspect, and people are getting like the wrong aspects of the movie. I mean, I get it in terms of people saying like I wanted to know more. People always want to know more, but for me and for Edgar, for other people, it's just like it's not the point. I come here for like, the character journeys, and for that, it was very moving, and the backdrop was just trying to elevate what these characters were going through. So at that point, yeah, I think Civil War is a huge success. It's one of my favorites of the year. So yeah, love Civil War. Let's talk about challengers. Josh, play the music. Okay. Don't get copywritten. Man, challengers, phenomenal film. Both of your now favorite movies of the year, right? Correct?
Yep. Since I saw it for the first time.
Yeah.
I didn't need a rewatch to move it up.
I've only seen it once, actually. You did? So you both have seen it twice?
Yeah. I want to watch it again.
I want to watch it again so badly.
When that thing kicks in.
So good. That song is going to be on every end of the year montage. It's like, come on.
Oh, I'm using it.
Yeah, it's so easy. It's like, come on. It's like, this is to celebrate everything of 2024. That song
is so fucking good.
It's so good.
This movie is like Edgar was there. He knew. Like we had a good fucking crowd for our first watch with this.
Best crowd of the year that I've had, and I don't think anything is gonna beat it yet.
Which is weird.
It's April or May.
You were in the room, Evan.
Rivaled Endgame.
Oh my god!
It did. It's a fucking theater full of college film students watching this movie. Like during the bed scene, people were losing their fucking minds.
When they were just having
when spoilers when
that bed scene,
kiss, people lost their fucking minds, and I was included.
The crowd was going crazy. That was a good. Yeah, I thought you meant like.
And the ending, like, oh my fucking god!
I was in tears at the end. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, like it felt like every single person in that room took a fucking poke or a shot of heroin. I don't know. And they were just like watching the movie super fucking high. Like it was great.
It was so good.
Like I watch a lot of anime. That's like one of the biggest like sports anime peak intensity moments I've ever seen in live action on cinema. It was just wow. Like, and again, you can predict everything that was going to happen in terms of like the arts and Patrick's connection. The whole
that's why it's so good is that you know what's about to happen. You know what's happening. You don't think they're actually going to do it, but they do.
They do, and it's so beautiful, and it means so much in so many different reasons. Like it's so complex. Man, I was.
This movie is fucking electric. Luca Guadagnino's direction is like a fucking lightning bolt to cinema. Like just every choice he makes in this movie, as far as like score, like sound mixing, the performances, the direction, the camera work, right? It's all so unique,
editing
and
so
purposeful, and something I've never really seen before, all in the same package.
Like, yeah, agreed. Yeah,
the tennis ball shots, insane.
How did he do that?
Insane. Like, the first person shots, like goofy as fuck, but worked so well.
So perfect. The first person shots.
When Mike Weiss holds his fist out in the first person, it's hilarious, but it's so good.
I love it. Like I really want to interview Luca. I'm like, what anime did you watch to like
What
get
anime?
inspiration from this? Because I've seen shit
That
just
match
like this.
point scene, like
Oh my
all of
god!
it, just
That slow-mo shot of
unfucking
Mike
real, man.
catching the ball midair.
Come
All the
on!
slow mo, it
Let's
worked so
fucking
well.
go! Like I was so hyped. I was literally leaning forward in my seat like Leonardo fucking DiCaprio.
Buzzing
Yeah.
after every viewing.
Dude, same. I really need to see this movie again. I don't have time these days.
I'm at 3 viewings so far, and I need to see it one more time.
How do you get the time? I wish. Yeah, I wish.
For cinema, anything, baby.
Yeah.
Nah.
Also, we saw it early. Then I saw it twice. So
Early than twice. That's fair enough. But yeah, let's dive into it. Like, first of all, Zendaya is just easily her best performance.
Best
Yeah.
performance, yeah.
Yeah.
I love her in Dune, but like she's
it's
on
between-
another level here.
This and Far From Home for me, it's very close. It's very close.
Really? Oh, you're
yeah.
joking. Okay.
Yeah, come on. I'm kidding. But yeah, this and Dune Part 2 and this in the same year. Wow.
What a year for her.
I'm talking about film, of course. It's kind of hard to judge this compared to.
And these both were supposed to come out last year.
I know, right? It's kind of hard to judge this versus multiple episodes of Euphoria. Obviously, she's great in that as well. But in terms of
They're different.
film,
Yeah.
they're different. Yeah.
The looks she gives in this film are like I've never seen an actor do
impeccable.
that. When in the how do I just when Josh O'Connor approaches her behind or in the alley,
Oh yeah.
like the look she gives him. Crazy.
Like the look
it's-
that she the one look that has like stayed with me for one reason or another is when Josh does the ball thing and she's like trying to figure out what the hell is happening, like what does that mean, like the look in her face, like just trying to figure out. It's great.
Also, the scene between her and Mike Feist in the hotel room the night before, when he's kind of like just on her and she's like in tears and looks away, like it's so fucking good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I love the complexity of their relationship. When I tweeted it out, I felt like a chaotic love.
This
triangle.
is an actual love triangle too,
Yeah.
not just like two-sided triangle.
And,
Like
and
a
the way
picnic.
that
Complete
exactly,
triangle.
yeah,
There.
this is the definition of a perfectly constructed love triangle. And
Yeah.
I would really want to know, like, in terms of Luca's, like, the way he navigates love, the concept of love.
It's
in
his
this
theme in
movie.
all of his movies. Like
It really
he does it so
is.
well and does it differently in each one.
We talked about his direction. His direction is completely different from what we've seen in the past,
Oh,
but also
yeah.
his navigation of love is really different. Like I adore Bones and all. My second favorite movie of the year in 2022, and that love is very messy, very literally bloody. This one's very chaotic. It's very chaotic, and it means multiple things. Toxic for multiple people, like the love of the profession, right? The love of the profession for tennis. Also, they all love each other in just different ways. It's very interesting.
Tennis is a relationship, like they say.
Yeah.
And we see that come to realization throughout the whole film.
Throughout the whole film, and that's why
Especially
the
the end. Yeah, that's why the ending is so good, is because when they finally connect.
Exactly. It's so palpable because you can feel their connection. You can feel it.
Yeah.
And that's the way they structured this is so unique in terms of having reverse time. I forget how to
The timelines, the editing is a lot, but like I think that it's handled really well.
It's handled really well. I was never really confused. Some parts I was like, it took me a while to get situated in the time space. But I was
the
never
whole Atlanta to like that whole bit was a bit confusing, but I got it under rewatch. Yeah.
Yes, that's why I can't wait to watch it, because I'm like, did they have sex in Atlanta or the night before? Or,
it was the night before.
Yeah. And they had sex in Atlanta, right? They did both. It was both, right? Yeah.
What's implied that they do Atlanta?
Exactly. Yeah. Is that their kid? You never really know. It was like 8 years ago, and the girl's 8. Anyways, so yeah, I love their brotherhood. First of all, before we get into Zendaya of it all, the brotherhood between
the chemistry. Oh my god,
the chemistry between Mike Feist,
not even just brotherhood.
Like it's deeper than that. Yeah, it's deeper than that, but it's also messier than that. One of my favorite moments is towards the end of the movie when they're in the sauna and Josh O'Connor's like, "Why do you even like? Why aren't you talking to me anymore? Like, don't bullshit me that it was about Tashi. Like, what's really going on here?" And he's kind of still just kind of putting the tennis excuse of it all out there.
Yeah.
But their relationship was just so interesting and messy and moving at the same
She
time.
was a homewrecker. Like she ended up being a homewrecker.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the tragedy of it all.
It's a tragedy of it all, but also that's when you get into the intentionality of it all. Like, did she actually mean to do this, or was her obsession, her love of tennis, just usurped her love of these two boys? And she kind of used them to elevate her love of tennis. That's why she was so connected with Art and doesn't want him to leave. She literally goes to Josh O'Connor's. She goes to Patrick to be like, before she has sex with him, to be like, I need you to quit because I want Art to continue tennis. And I think,
but because that's the safe relationship, though. Because she feels safe in being able to control him.
Exactly, and I think she also wants to get close to tennis. Like if she has Art continue to
it's the obsession too. Like she can't be away from the sport, or can't through the sport through him even.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Exactly. She vicariously, it's the whole vicariously living through him of it all. Where
and he even admits that, like, I'm playing for both of us. He says.
Yeah, if he leaves and becomes a dad, how dare he? If he just becomes a dad, then she can't vicariously live through tennis anymore. You know, she physically can't, and because of her leg, of course, but she emotionally can't if Art walks away, and that's why she doesn't want him to walk away, and that's why part of it was why she was so invigorated by the last play, mainly because she loves tennis, but also again, she's feeling.
And that's the brilliance of the final shot of her being like screaming, pissed off, then smiling until she finally saw them play good tennis.
And
have that connection.
Like, exactly, 100%. It doesn't matter what happens next. My dad was so pissed. He was like, "I love the movie, Evan, but the final shot, cheesy and stupid." And I disagree. I love it, and I get why it's divisive.
The relationship is like ultimately on the back burner. It's just their love of tennis, and
And I get why it's divisive. It's totally fair, but I loved the not the simplicity, but I love how boom, that's it. Like that's the end. The hug. That was the connection. The connection was the emotional anchor of this movie. Yeah. All of their connection, but specifically in that moment, Art and Patrick's like reunion per se, but also like the messy reunion because the
like even Lucas says like someone asked him what happens after that shot. Oh, they probably just went to a hotel room together.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just so funny and so interesting, and I think someone else, Edgar and I, talked about like how I went in thinking this is Zendaya masterfully manipulating these two white boys, and for most of it that is the case. At some point,
manipulation on all three sides.
And that was what made it very much more interesting for me, because if it was just Zendaya manipulating these two idiots, then I'd be like, okay, it's a solid movie, but okay.
Art is manipulating by being the nice guy.
Art is
by controlling both of them, like how the lunch scene with Zendaya's character, like that's full on like.
It's one of my favorite
setting the stones in their minds that this relationship isn't working out.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's like, do you even love? And it's pure Big Brother too. It's like you go to somebody, and you say like, oh, you're trying to get that out of them in terms of like, I don't have to love them. And Art's like, mentally check. Okay, cool. Let me go to.
And you see that at the game when he realizes they have a fight. You see the smile try to creep up. Yeah,
exactly. It's like Art is so like he's sly guy. He's not innocent. People. He's a lot lower. He's a lot less
a lot more
invigorated than Patrick and Zendaya, who are much more of a showy characters just in and of themselves.
The one and only scene where he really does show his colors isn't the what do you call it, the fucking
cafeteria?
No. It's up with him and Josh.
Sauna.
The sauna. There you go. Yeah. Where he's just like being like cold and he's being cold and he's being just straight up with him, and like you've seen this guy trying to be like the nice guy with both of them throughout the movie, and this is the only time where he's just like, like I don't really care, like I'm just stopping by. Yeah, I'm just stopping by. This is where you live. Great fucking line, by the way.
Great line.
And I was like Patrick was like, "Oh, so you don't care about me?" And he's like, "No, no one should. Not even the biggest tennis player on the planet."
It's
Which is
so
a
great.
hard one.
And then, of course, Josh's manipulations happened a lot through like the Atlanta scenes, obviously, the Applebee's of it all. By the way, yeah, it was very funny. Applebee's was a huge point of this movie, and then on Survivor the same week, last week, there was a huge Applebee's basically reward challenge, and if they won a reward, they win Applebee's. And this one girl started screaming because she didn't get to go to Applebee's, and I'm like, this is Applebee's week. I need to go to Applebee's again. I love Applebee's. Anyways, that was just my whole thing. Oh,
Applebee's
and
or Chili's?
were they supposed to be in Cincinnati, right? Without a Cincinnati scene? I think they were in Cincinnati, Ohio or something. It was like the Cincinnati Wimbledon.
For the Applebee's scene?
The Applebee's scene. I think it was supposed to be Cincinnati. And I've been to every Applebee's in Cincinnati. That's not in Cincinnati.
Only in Ohio.
Only in Ohio, right? So that was very interesting because the theater kind of like lost it when they mentioned Cincinnati in one of the backgrounds.
I do want to mention that scene in of the at the Applebee's because it's again another example of like art just being very manipulative, of him like trying to be like, oh, what would have happened if I would have won the game and you would have been with me from the start? And it's like, first of all, you lost, so just get over it. And second of all, you're trying to make her accident about you when you're the one who pretty much caused it by like getting off her game by making them argue that day.
And that's something I took from the very first, my only viewing of the movie. That's how I immediately took it in terms of the order of events of it all. I'm like, oh, it kind of really tracks in terms of art manipulation. Just in general, this is one of the most fascinating character journey movies I've ever seen in terms of like immediately becoming invigorated and entranced by all three of these characters and tracking their journeys. Even as we go backwards from like 8 years ago, 10 years ago, it elevates the scenes that come before it. We're like, oh, okay.
That's why the editing is fucking masterful in this.
And it makes the scene comes to in the future even better, of course, getting into
they know when to place each scene.
Yeah. And the editing was just so well done. I was
and like they put the hand in the racket so early in the movie that like when it comes back, it's so fucking rewarding.
And it's so interesting because like as a director, you have to wonder like, do people understand? Like, yeah, you gave them that one scene, but our audience is going to remember it, and I think they do for good measure. Because first of all, the scene is kind of memorable because it's like, oh, we need a language for each other, right? And it kind of reiterates how tennis is a language. It is a relationship. It's just one of the best. It's interesting because we've all seen a lot of sports movies, but this kind of pushes the envelope in an interesting and sexy way that kind of like supersedes the sports movie mold in ways that I couldn't expect. This is just all around a great movie. Best theater experience in game, yeah, for sure.
Trent Reznor and actress Ross's best score, probably.
I think it's between this and I'm kidding. I don't know their scores as much as you.
Social Network.
Okay. Yes.
Soul, Mank, I liked.
Of course.
I don't remember anything.
Mayhem.
Who remembers any jack shit from Mank?
Nope.
Josh?
That movie's fun.
It's fun.
Well, maybe fun's not the right word. I think it's good.
Oh, there we go. But yeah, Soul was great, and then I completely forgot Social Network. Iconic score.
Gone Girl.
Top 10 favorite movies of all time. Gone Girl. I didn't know that was Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Oh.
Yeah, they've done all of Fincher's movies since Social Network, I think.
Okay. So 3 movies.
No. Well, that, Gone Girl, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Mank, Get the Killer.
Killer was pretty good last year. Yeah. Pretty solid.
But yeah, this score is like it's Justin Hurwitz Babylon level. Or like you could fucking dance to it. Like it's so catchy, so memorable.
Right on a club, baby.
So apparent.
This is not like us in the club. Yeah, that was great. Let's go on to challengers. Or sorry,
should we say Fall Guy for next month? It came out in May.
Yeah.
Do that.
Also, like real quick breaking news, I guess. Ralph Ineson is playing Galactus.
Fantastic. Oh. Oh,
That voice, baby, it matches perfectly.
Yo.
whoa!
Okay. Oh, he's finally showing up. I'm on.
Ralph Ineson, one of the best voices
In the
ever?
business. Yeah.
in the business. His gruff voice, it's so good. His really gruff and imposing voice. Man, this is out of
Ralph
left field.
Ineson's been one of my favorite supporting actors recently.
He's great in Willow.
The
He's in
Green Knight,
Willow.
come the
He's
fuck
kind of
on.
well.
Watch the Willow
He is
series.
good in Willow, yeah.
But of course, yeah. I just rewatched The Witch. That's crazy.
Which the Green Knight, he's the Green Knight.
Holy shit! People were expecting Bardem and
This is awesome.
the other one.
The other
Javier Bardem, the dad from Spy Kids. Fucking
Spy Kids. Antonio Banderas?
there we go. Yeah.
Him?
They were expecting him.
Who the fuck was expecting him?
He was in the lineup. It was him and
It was
Javier
rumored,
Bardem.
right?
He was rumored at least. But this is out of left field. I love this. Great filmography. Great for Ralph. Thank you, Edgar, for that big drop.
I did the show in a
awesome.
bang.
Yeah.
That's actually this movie has a good cast so far.
I agree. I haven't been hating on the cast like other people. I think Pedro's going to be fine. I mean,
Who's Silver Surfer? It's Mackenzie Davis, right? Or is it
no,
someone else?
people wanted
No,
because it's Julia Garner.
Mhm.
Also a great choice, yeah.
Yeah, people are playing that clip from the final season of Ozark. Man, she's just screaming at the camera. My brother's like, "Is this really?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a good show." Anyways, yeah. Before we leave, I want to mention some of the TV shows I've loved this year. Two of my favorite TV shows of the year aired in April. Shogun ended its run in April.
Incredible,
Yeah.
man.
Oh,
Like, I just want to
I
mention
need to watch it.
I love that the show that didn't end on this big like battle.
yes,
kind of thing.
Edgar. Yes.
It's very like almost like mundane, but it fits the character arcs really well.
Jesus.
It fits the character arc so well, and internally, I'm hyped for a battle. I love a good battle, but I also love a good character drama. And the mental battles in this show, the character dramas, the character inner conflicts, out of this world.
Like I was telling Josh just as a comparison because he hasn't seen the show. It kind of reminded me of like the Obi-Wan and Maul rematch in the sense it's like
yes,
it's not like it's a weird comparison maybe, but like it's like very quick and it's very subtle and it's like to the point and like you don't need any flashy things. Like almost like the suddenness, it's better. It fits the characters better than anything bombastic.
It's beautifully subtle and filled with a lot of depth at the same time. Where you could, I was talking about this whole episode about like tracking character relationships and Anna Sawai's Mirko character navigating her relationship with both Toranaga and John Blackthorne was extremely fulfilling all the way to the very end. The penultimate episode of Shogun is one of the best episodes I've seen in years. Basically, Anna Sawai's give me the Emmy episode. Hopefully she wins. I know Baby Reindeer has been coming on hot, but I haven't
that?
Baby Reindeer on Netflix.
Of course it is.
I've seen it, but I haven't actually watched the show.
It's coming in hot, and people are really like putting that as number one over Shogun. I'm like, I know it's like I haven't watched it yet, but hopefully, I want Shogun to get his due because I think every supporting character was incredible in Shogun, and like Edgar says, it's one of the best dramas. Because it relies on just a lot of like the interpersonal relationships and navigating this tense and unpredictable world. I say unpredictable, but it was actually predictable in terms of like the laws of the land and how Toranaga kind of navigates the strict and unsettling laws of this of this ancient Japan.
Yeah.
I loved it. Hiroyuki Sanada. One of his best performances to date. He's always great in everything, but he was just pitch perfect here in the show. What's his name? The Blackthorn character's name? This is real life name.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Like Jervis. It starts with a G somehow. I don't know. But he was very goofy early on, but I kind of got used to his goofiness and his kind of made it more. His relationship with Mirko Anasawai's character was very heartwarming and earnest and beautiful, and all his relationships and how he kind of grew as a character, the growth in all these characters, how they grow based on their relationship with each other was beautiful to watch. the action when we did get it was very tense and thrilling.
Yeah.
And like Edgar said, it was very short, but it was short and meaningful, short and powerful. And there's a cliff. I'll just say for the finale, there's like this cliffside sequence that I just ate up. Like this was such an Evan core moment. I'm like, edge of my seat, edge of my seat. Two dudes talking on a cliff.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's all you need, baby.
That's all you need, baby. Cinema. So I just loved Shogun. It's a phenomenal show. Also, another favorite show of the year, X-Men '97. This show is unreal. I'm a huge fan of animation. I'm a huge fan of the X-Men. This show is just built for me. The action is insane. There was an X-Men or there was a Wolverine and Nightcrawler moment from last week that was crazy. But I love how seriously they take this show. The Jean Grey and Cyclops relationship is very messy, but very meaningful. Rogue has just been stealing the show throughout this entire season. Magneto's philosophy has been both challenged and confirmed throughout every single episode. Professor X's ideology is clashing. He's not the perfect character. He is definitely infallible. And this recent episode, the penultimate episode, really confirmed that. The villains, there's some very surprising villains. I won't get into that because of spoilers, but the villains are very menacing, vile, but also have a point in how they align with the apathy of human nature and how the humans are contemplating and navigating mutant trauma. Do they care? Do they not care? Is Magneto just right? Is Professor X, is their idea of a middle ground really palpable? And how the X-Men kind of like, are, of course, as always, caught in the middle ground between mutant society and human nature, and the flaws within everybody, the flaws within their own group. I'm wowed every episode. I'm just left speechless. This last episode, the penultimate episode, left me speechless because they pulled out a panel straight from the comics. It was bloody. It was insane. It was crazy. This show is the definition of a perfect revival show. That's great for newcomers, but also really beneficial for older fans as well. So watch X-Men '97. That's my spiel. Yeah, I think that's about it for me as TV and movies.
I did see a piece of news while you were going on that rant.
Thank you very much.
Apparently, the Joseph Kosinski F1 movie has a budget of $300 million.
On Apple?
Yeah, I thought that already. Yeah.
Apple is chilling out.
What the fuck are we doing, people?
I mean, he made Top Gun, right? This is the Top Gun dude.
$300 million. That's not good.
Also, how much was fucking Scorsese's last movie that he has last year?
200?
200 something?
250? I don't know. I don't remember actually.
Really?
It was expensive.
Yeah, it was pretty expensive.
They built that whole village from the ground up. They made oil. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's $300 million for a movie that's not going to make $300 million in the box office.
I mean, kudos to Apple for giving these directors.
Yeah, but like we should limit it
between Apple and Amazon. Apple and Amazon are
self-regulate people.
It's not sustainable.
No, but Apple, good old Apple. So yeah, this is Joseph Kosinski with Brad Pitt as the star, right? The Brad Pitt vehicle movie. It sounds very interesting. I can't wait to see it. I think Brad Pitt's going to kill it. And Joseph Kosinski, I love Top Gun. So I don't know if $300 million is worth it, but we better get some high speed camera under the vehicle, over the vehicle, give us some Challengers level direction.
Top type of IMAX shit.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Like I want to feel the car grease on my skin. Yeah. No.
But
yeah.
Is there anything else?
Nothing else. Yeah, let's close out here. You guys can find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9. Tonight, Nathan and I are continuing our Fox Marvel commentary run. We have done the X-Men trilogy. Today, we are starting the Fantastic Four 2005 duology with Fantastic Four 2005. It's been over a decade since I've seen this movie. I used to watch it all the time growing up. but it's been quite some time. So I can't wait to revisit this movie as we gear up for X-Men and Wolverine and Deadpool. This past Monday, Nathan and I did a My Cup of Tea talking about all the recent movie news. We talked about challenges. We talked about Fall Guy on that episode. We also talked about the Superman costume of it all and my adventures with Superman.
Why are people caring so much about a costume?
We mentioned that. For some reason, people turned into designers.
Didn't make to wait the film. Like, it's a fucking suit.
Right? I'm the same way. I was like, the cinema fans have turned into designer fans. Like, when did that mean?
Who cares? Wait till the movie.
Anyways,
it looks fine.
Is he putting on the boots or is he taking them off? Why doesn't he care what's outside?
Is there so much dirt on the suit? It's not vibrant.
Yeah, what's happening?
I will say, I do think it's hilarious that the first look for this movie is him just like chilling on his apartment while there's something.
It's fun.
It's cool. I like it.
No, it's cool, but I'm saying like I just find it funny since everybody has been complaining about that with Henry Cavill and Snyder. It's like,
yeah, right. So I can't wait to see it. Hopefully, we might get a trailer at the end of this year. I can't wait. That's going to be one of the most highly anticipated trailers.
Probably, if they do Comic-Con, they probably do a little trailer there.
Possibly. He is the same guy, the Guardians trailer with weeks into filming. But yeah, so Nathan and I are chugging along with our commentaries and stuff. Next week, we're going to be talking about Tales of the Empire, Bad Batch finale, and the new Acolyte trailer as we geared up for Acolyte, which is less than a month away. So that's very exciting. So yeah,
there'll be a lot of Star Wars talk on my end on our next monthly episode.
Sweet, can't wait.
Edgar.
You can find me at EDGRTEG on all social medias, Letterboxd, Twitter, Instagram, all the good stuff. And you can find some of my written work at Letter and Clear Reviews in the Cinema Spot. And you can check out our box office episode. Me and Evan just talked about the spring and winter season heading over to summer. So that was a lot of fun.
I'm already upset because I'm
Garfield.
Garfield's going to, probably make bank.
I told you that you were making a mistake for picking.
There was a fight towards the mid-range.
And I was going to make like Fall Guy or Twisters as my 4 or 5. And I think I should have put Twisters as 4, Fall Guys as 5. Especially the latest Twisters trailer. Whew, music to my ears.
$1 tistillion.
I think it's gonna make bank. I think it's gonna be perfectly fine going against Deadpool. I doubted it in the moment.
Is the same weekend?
It's this weekend before Deadpool.
Yeah.
We'll probably do enough for that first week. Yeah. At least it's on the week after.
Yeah, big difference there. So yeah, Josh, where can they find you?
On Josh or on Twitter at Josh D. Woodbury. On Josh, the wine bottle. Talking and lots of stuff. I just found a tweet. Chappell Roan's new album is starting to be worked on, so that makes me very happy. We'd find updates and shit for this podcast at WHFG Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Me and Edgar are gonna be we'll have a lot more free time in the next couple of months, so we're gonna be cooking up some stuff.
More top 10s.
Already planning some stuff, maybe a little Star Wars stuff with some friends of the show. So it's to be fun summer.
All right. Should we do maybe Twisters commentary?
I want to do that for sure.
Please.
I haven't seen it. That'd be
fun. It's been booked.
Yeah. But yeah, it's got a lot more from us than we've given you in the last few months. We've been busy.
Yeah.
School.
But yeah, Heartbreak feels good. That's magic. There we go. That's a new ending. That's magic.
That's magic.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Precisely.